Okay.
I really was looking for. I'd always wanted to go back to school at some point, and I'd been putting it off, and I was going to maybe get my MBA or something. So I thought, if I'm going to take the time and spend the money, I better go strong. And the law was the most kind of intense academic post-grad experience that seemed to exist out there. And it also, in terms of its utility, for me, it covered the options to use that degree continue to be, there's a lot of different doors you can go. You don't, even without being a lawyer and practicing law, just at its fundamental level, it's changed the way I think and view things and analyze things and interact with people and just that alone has been invaluable. But you can use a law degree not necessarily to be a lawyer, so there's a lot of options there, and within the law, there's certainly a lot of areas that I'm interested in. Entertainment law is obviously one of them, and doing contracts, but I like criminal law. That was one of my favorite subject areas. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you, so it's kind of strange. Some of the law subject areas were very interesting, and so I worked in the Brooklyn District Attorney's office last summer, not this past summer, but the summer of 2012, and I found that really interesting. There was a lot at stake, and in terms of trial work, that's where I felt I could utilize the some of the acting chops in the court. But in terms of a business like the Artist Development Guild that Sean and I are working on, it's again, dealing with contract. UCLA has a great entertainment law program. It's like one of the best ones in the country. So I was able to kind of plunge into a lot of different entertainment areas of law, like music law and some of the tax law that entertainers are subjected to that others aren't, and so it's the copyright classes and intellectual property classes. So it was a great experience. But I'm glad it's over.
Well, I'm sure.
I'm sure that's a lot.
But of course, you have to be very proud of yourself for doing it and following through and graduating. I think that's awesome. A lot of people start things and not finish them, and realize at some point they don't even want to do that. So that's great.
It's true. I certainly have my moments where I was like, gosh, I don't know if this is because it got to be pretty demanding, and UCLA is a I don't know, kind of pushed UCLA Law School here, but it's one of the top law schools in the country, number 14 or 15, and so you're surrounded by overachievers, and to the point where like, how did I slip in the cracks to get into this school? Well, who did I fool? And I mean, some of these, it's just amazed that some of these kids and how they, really, I have a different opinion of Generation Z, or at least some of them. They're pretty impressive individuals. So it was competitive, and you're always surrounded by people that appear to be a hell of a lot smarter than you, and so it was you're always you're being challenged by your colleagues in a positive way, and so you're always on. There's no time to relax, and when you're not doing work, you feel guilty because you need to be doing. There's always work to be done, and so
right.
It's one of the nice things of not being in school right now is I don't have that hanging over my head. So I've actually, for the past few weeks, just enjoyed. Well, I was lucky, and maybe we can transition into Tainted Dreams at this point, right? Like the day after the day after I finished the bar exam, I started Tainted Dreams. So it was like completely going from one universe into another in a very short period of time.
Yeah, tell us about Tainted Dreams. I mean, can you tell us any about your character?
Well, yes. I mean, this is, there's this new model of doing things, both with soap operas going online, with All My Children, One Life to Live, and I know they're having some issues right now. I think they've suspended production, not for lack of viewers. I think it's done very well on Hulu or whatever their distribution platform is. But I think they just want to make the shows even better. So, but I'm not sure why. But anyway, the trend now is to create these shows, half-hour versions of like One Life and All My Children, and then new shows. I mean, there's different shows like Venice and The Bay, and those that.
Right.
And again, though, it's kind of like the same thing with music. You know, you can create it's easier now to create content. It's just, you know, just because you create it, you got to get paid for it. It's about monetizing the content and getting eyeballs or eardrums on your content such that somebody with money is willing to pay you money to keep producing it. So the challenge is, you know, at the end of the day, you have to have a good product. You have to have a good song, or you have to have a good series. And why I think Tainted Dreams is, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but Tainted Dreams is not a soap opera, and I always have to say that when I talk about it, because people say, well, it's an online soap opera. It's not an online soap opera. It's not, you know, not trying to be a soap opera. It's about working on a soap opera. So in that
Tainted Dreams, right?
Right. So the Tainted Dreams is the name of our series. Painted Dreams is the name of the soap opera we all work on. And so, you know, immediately it's a comment on soap operas, which I absolutely love about this project. I always compare it to, and a lot of people don't know this old TV series. It's called The Larry Sanders Show, starring Gary Shandling, and it was like in the early '90s on HBO. It was a pretty popular show.
Yeah, I remember.
I actually did.
I remember.
I was on it for one episode, but it's not about. It's called The Larry Sanders Show, but it's about working on a talk show, a late night talk show, and all the the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and the different personalities, and that's kind of what, you know, working on a soap opera. What's going on at the studio behind the cameras is far more interesting than the drama that's being concocted in front of the cameras, and so there's certainly a soap opera within that. So to say it's not a soap opera isn't entirely a correct assessment of it. I mean, you know, what is a soap opera? Well, there's a lot of primetime shows that are soap operas. You know, they have the elements of relationships and all the dramatic things that one would characterize as soap opera, but it's not traditional. You know, it's more like this is more Tainted Dreams is more like the Larry Sanders Show, or in some sense 30 Rock. It's about working on a production. And Sonia Blangiardo, who created Tainted Dreams, it was a producer at All My Children when I started there, and I've stayed in touch with Sonia. I worked there at All My Children for 4 years, and she went over to One Life to Live to work as a producer. Then she started directing, and so she's bounced around and has accumulated a wealth of stories and a number of experiences that, you know, we actually the seeds of Tainted Dreams really was an idea that she came to me with in 2006, and said, you know, there's just too much information, there's too much stuff here that's too interesting to not write something about. And so we started something, you know, several years ago, and I kind of drifted away from it. And she stayed with it, and you know, when the web format started to become something that that looked viable, she recrafted the kind of hour drama that we had created into a web series, and created different stories. It's a different show, but she got it together, and it's I love that. She came to me last, I think, summer of 2012. She goes, I've actually, you know, reinvigorated our idea into this web series, and she started kind of talking about the character that was based around me, and I said, that's great. I started thinking of actors to play it, you know, young guys in their late 20s and early 30s, and she's like, why don't you want to do it? And I said, well, I don't know. I just think I started to you know, take myself out of the picture here, like cast somebody else. I said, oh, okay, I guess I could work. She said, no, you'd be great for this. And I said, all right. So my involvement started about a year ago, and she got the money together for it and wrote 12 half-hour episodes, which I think are really good. I think the writing is very funny and yet heartfelt, and there's certainly dramatic soap elements, but it's great because all of us that have worked on soaps, Walt Willey and Bobby Eakes and James DePaiva and a lot of other soap actors that are in Tainted Dreams are able to kind of play these. It's interesting because you're playing an actor working on a soap opera, but there are scenes where you're actually in the soap opera playing soap scenes, and so you kind of have to decide as an actor, what kind of soap actor am I? Am I a bad soap actor? And am I a sincere soap actor, or so that stuff, and all the stuff that we were all so critical of when we worked on soap operas, we could kind of play those how we feel about things. So it's cathartic in many ways, but it's still great storytelling and like I said, very funny and very intelligent. I mean, it's really capitalizing on all the best parts of working on a soap opera, and I think it's entertaining, and I do think it distinguishes itself from others. Not to minimize the other efforts of other shows that are soap operas for the web, but I do think Tainted Dreams is different, and we're pushing for one of the cable networks to pick it up, and
I hope so.
We're going beyond the web at this point. So, but that was basically right after I took the bar in the end of July, and then just started working on Tainted Dreams in New York City for all of August, and it just had a great time. It was great to work with actors on All My Children. I'd kind of just missed when I left there. Alicia Minshew came on a few months after I left, and I'd always wanted to work with her. I kind of caught All My Children a few times after I left, and I thought that there's a few people on there I wish I would have been able to work with. So it was nice to connect with her and play with her on Tainted Dreams, and you never thought I'd be able to do that, and so it's a great opportunity, and I think we got it all done. It was amazing how much work we did in 3.5-4 weeks.
Well, I have to say one thing that makes us really happy is that most of the characters that I see that are going to be on there, or most of the actors, I should say, that are going to be on it, are actors, excuse me, that we've known and loved for many years off of different soaps that are no longer with us.
Yeah. Which actors Which actors have you followed that are on Tainted Dreams that you're excited to see?
Well, Natalia Livingston, of course, Alicia, Terry Ivins, Willie. I'm sorry, I always say his name wrong. I don't know why. Bobby Eakes. Nathan Purdy from One Life to Live. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Eileen Kristen. I mean, there are so many of them. I've watched throughout the years.
And I missed mentioning Terry. I mean, she's another one I barely missed working with on All My Children, and she and I play boyfriend and girlfriend on the we're actors on this soap opera, and we play boyfriend and girlfriend in real life, but then we're brother and sister on the soap opera, so it's kind of weird.
How do you get that straight?
It's a little strange, and we can. And Terry's just a pistol. I absolutely love working with her, and it's just it's more than all of it's more than I expected it to be in such a good way. So I'm really excited to see the end results of it.
Oh, so are we. I mean, we're sitting here with bated breath.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Do we have any idea when it's going to start?
No, I think that it's probably, it all depends on what how the producers are negotiating with it. So I we all are just gnashing at the bit to shoot season 2. Another 12 half. Because now it's hard. None of us really knew what to expect going into doing this. It seemed to be extremely ambitious. I mean, they're 60-page scripts. There's 12 of them to do initially in 2